You're listening to Nice-ish, a podcast about reality TV and your opinions, with your hosts, Cindy and Grace. Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 47 of Nice-ish. I'm Cindy, and I'm here with my co-host, Grace. Hi, Grace. Anything going on?
Yeah, we lost power today, and it really rocked me. I was not prepared for it. You don't know how good you have it until you lose it.
Oh my God, power's everything. We're in this small group chat with two of your girlfriends, your best friends, and myself. And so one of them mentioned in the group chat, do you guys have power? And we had power. And then literally within 3 seconds of that text, we lost power.
I know.
And so you're like, no, we don't. What's going on? Because we are customers of nyseg, which is New York State Electric and Gas. And we think they suck ass. They are terrible.
Yeah.
It's like a hard wind will blow over something and we lose power. It's like all the time, it seems like.
Oh, it does. Any little bit of rain, wind.
Yes.
Like, it always happens in this, like, one specific spot, too, this, like, specific box.
Yeah.
And they never fix it.
Nope.
And so this time it caught on fire.
And I was completely unprepared. My phone was at 17, and I think yours was lower than mine.
Yeah, it was like at like 7 or 6.
And so your girlfriend's like, we just passed by where it happened and the box was on fire, and she sent us a photo.
Yeah.
And so she's like, we're hearing that it might be till 10:30 at night. And this was roughly, I don't know, 7?
No, it was earlier than that. It was
Earlier?
like 5 o'clock.
Was it that early?
I think so.
Okay.
Or maybe 6. Shit, I don't know. It
Okay,
felt
so it
like
was around
forever.
then.
It felt like forever. So I don't know.
Well, I don't know where you went. I decided to be proactive, and I took my squishmallow and my blanket, and I went out in the car and I started the car to charge my phone. And I get a text from you because we no longer had our Wi-Fi, so it was going off.
Right.
You know, it was slower and shit. But I get a text from you like, where are you? Where did you go? And I sent you a picture.
Yeah, it was so funny. I'm like, I get going out to the car to charge your phone, but the fact that you brought a squishmallow and a blanket, like the car didn't have heat or something, so
Yeah.
you needed a blanket, or that you were going to sleep out there or take a nap.
I did not know. I was prepared for a nap because there wasn't anything else to do. I couldn't go on Twitter. I couldn't go on Blue Sky. I couldn't go on. Well, I could do my apps, my game apps, my
Right.
solitaire and shit like that. But then it would just be zapping my battery. So I literally am like, I need to keep my phone off. So you came out there.
Well, I did actually. Before I came out there, though, I was looking through the window. Like, I was going through each room, and then I heard the car running. So I just thought, is she going somewhere? So then I looked out there, and I could see the blue from the squishmallow. So I took a photo, and I sent it to my two friends. I was like, she's out there in the car, with, like, just out there chilling.
I did not see that photo, probably
Yeah,
because
I know.
I didn't. So I was not part of the group chat.
I know.
Oh, God. Well, I was comfortable. It was a little on the chilly side today because it's so windy. So, yeah, I kind of forgot I could turn the heat on. That's why I brought my blanket. But no, I was nice and toasty. And
Right.
then, like, 20 minutes later, I get this knock on the window.
Well, you want to know what? I actually probably know why you brought a blanket is because from like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when you got locked out. And you probably just thought, well, I don't want to be cold.
Yeah, that was a whole story in itself. We went to a bridal shower. I went home with a friend. She dropped me off, and I realized you had our keys. So, it didn't go well.
Yeah.
I was freezing my ass
I know.
off.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway,
I saved you, though.
you did. And then you came out and joined me. And so I uncharged my phone around 65 or so, and you plugged yours in. It goes super fast in the car.
It does, yeah. I feel like our wall outlets or something are not like power heavy. Like
I
don't get
know.
enough because I feel like it takes forever.
The one by my bed, the outlet by my bed takes hours, I feel like. And then I'm in the
Maybe-
car and it's minutes.
Maybe it's because we're using it as we're charging it and it kind of,
I don't know.
like that could be it.
Anyway, so you found me out there. We charged our phones. Less than 5 minutes coming into the house. It was like around 8:30, I think.
Right.
Or 8. We
'Cause it was-
came in,
yeah.
I grabbed a candle, I lit the
Right.
candle, and within 5 seconds of lighting the candle, the power came back on. So it was
Thank
perfect.
God we didn't have to do all that shit. I hate lighting all those candles and everything.
I do too. There's too many smells.
Candles give me anxiety. I always
I
like
get headaches a little bit.
I get a headache too, but then I don't like looking at the flame. Like I feel like if I just look at the candle enough, it'll just fall off and like a fire will start or something. And I don't like it. They
No,
scare
that's
me.
weird. And dumb. So in Beverly Hills Bravo News, Dorit Kemsley finally filed for divorce from PK.
I was surprised to hear that she was the one that did it. I'm glad that she did it, but I was surprised that it wasn't the other way around.
Well, she might have had it prepped up, but photos came out the day before of PK kissing some blonde chick. We find out her name was actually Shayna Wall. She was a contestant on The Amazing Race and apparently dated Ryan Seacrest at one point.
Okay.
So, I guess she was an aspiring actress and a sommelier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aspire. Is she still an aspiring actress?
I don't think so. I think she's aspiring to PK's empty wallet.
I guess. She's the only one.
Yeah. Well, TMZ said that Dorit filed her petition on Friday in LA County, and according to the documents, she's asking for sole legal and physical custody of their 2 children, 11-year-old Jagger and 9-year-old Phoenix. In the documents, Dorit requests spousal support from PK, which, again, not sure where that's coming from, and that there was no prenup.
Ooh, okay.
And people are starting to kind of question the timeline, too, if they were married the full 10 years, because in California, 10 years is kind of a benchmark where you automatically get half of all the assets. You split it 50-50. But we had a couple comments about this because we weren't quite sure with this timeline. They said that PK and Dorit got married in March of 2015, and they announced their separation in May of 2024. So that's 9 years. Yet she filed a couple days ago, which would be over 10 years. So people are like, does it matter when you file? Does it matter if it's when you separated?
Right.
And so we got a comment from Ashy Stew, who said, I wonder if the date of the separation plays into the time. They made it past 10 years before she filed, but they separated a year ago. So does the court look at that as 9 years or 10? Because now she's officially filed. I'm guessing 10 because it's legal. And Jersey Girl replied with, in New Jersey, it does not matter the date of the separation or the date of the filing. The day the judge dissolves the marriage is marked as the length of the marriage. So that's a whole nother scenario. And then Jax C. Bad said, no, it's the date of separation in California. She's screwed. Men will do anything not to pay a dime. He's probably got hidden bank accounts all over the world. She's going to have to depose his clients to find out what he's making. Gonna be a mess. What clients are we talking about? Like Boy George?
He's the only one. He's the only client.
Because I don't even know what he does.
Maybe that's what he has on his like all of his paperwork when it says like job title. It just says Boy George and that's it. There's nothing else written there. It's just that.
So what are your thoughts?
Well, at first I kind of thought the same as Jersey Girl, which is that it doesn't matter the date of separation. It's, when the judge dissolves the marriage or when you file. Like that would have been my first thought.
Yeah.
But if that's not the way that it is in California, that could be different because obviously there are different states have their different things that they do.
Right.
So I would have thought that at first.
Well, I Googled it because I thought I'm not going to come on here unprepared again. And so it says in California, the duration of a marriage ends when there is a complete and final break, as evidenced by one spouse expressing their intent to end the marriage and their actions are consistent with that intent. This is known as the date of separation, which is crucial in determining various aspects of a divorce, including spousal support and property division. The date of separation is not necessarily the date a divorce petition is filed, but rather the date the marital relationship is irrevocably broken. I said that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So they also give some examples, like evidence of a separation includes moving out or separate bank accounts. It's all about intent. And there were a lot of things that I think Dorit herself unfortunately proved for PK. Because in several episodes when she's talking about this, at one point she said during a counseling session, PK literally screamed out, "This is why I want a divorce from you."
Yeah.
Then he sends her an 8-page email that she reads some of, or in her own words, tells us what it said, which is that he no longer is going to pay on the mortgage. He's not responsible for any of those bills. And he does move out. So all of that and he's dating, my God.
That's the big one.
So all of those signal intent to end this marriage to me, whether Dorit wanted it or not, or even recognizes it.
Yeah. Do you think that he did that on purpose?
I don't know if he had been talking to a lawyer and
That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And his attorney was like, you need
Get
to do
her
this.
to say it'll be on camera. Let her talk shit about you. That's fine. Just do that. But just know that we're going to get the evidence of separation here as being under the 10-year mark.
Right. I think that's entirely possible. In fact, probably very likely.
Yeah.
I don't know that he could get her to say it on camera necessarily, but he needs to have some proof somewhere, and he could call the therapist into court and be like, no, he said he wanted a divorce or whatever, but she kind of did all of that.
Yeah.
It's going to be an uphill battle, I think, for her to prove that, the guy moved out.
Yeah. And he never sees his kids. I like throwing that in there, too.
Yeah, I know.
Keeping that in the mix.
I still think he's a shitbag. I'm seeing a lot of comments like she was terrible for mentioning that he's an alcoholic and all this stuff. But I'm like, look, she's been covering for him over and over and over again. I think too. So everybody thinks he's great. He's not great.
No. I get that people don't like Dorit, and that's okay. You don't have to. But she's the victim in this situation here. It's not the other way around. So I'm not really sure why you're just giving that narrative, why people like to do that.
Why they're siding with PK on
like
this.
Jeepers. Oh my God.
He doesn't see his kids. He wasn't sober for most of their marriage. He's going to stick her with all the bills.
Yeah.
And he's a great guy. I don't get it either, but we've talked about that a few times. So, all right, let's go on to the next.
Okay.
Let's talk about Summer House Bravo News. They had just finished filming the reunion this past weekend, and a picture surfaced of all of the men, minus Emerald, out to dinner afterward. Mm-hmm. And when I say all of the men, I'm including Andy Cohen. Andy went out with all of them as well.
Yeah. So
before I get into the photo, what do you think about Andy going? Was that appropriate or not?
No. Especially, it was absolutely not appropriate, especially because of the whole Brandy situation that we have going on. And no, even though he does not executive produce Summer House or anything like that, he does host the reunions.
Right.
You are supposed to be impartial at every reunion, or at least call everybody out on their shit. So it does not look that way when you go out with just the men. And this isn't actually the first time that he's done this either, because we saw him with just Jesse.
Yes, at the SNL 50 concert.
That was weird.
That was bizarre. I don't necessarily know if he brought Jesse as a guest, but Jesse was sitting next to him.
Right.
So how could he get seats way up there with Anderson Cooper and Andy if they didn't bring him?
Which seems very, very weird to me. I don't know. I don't know how he scored that seat.
I don't know.
Maybe
either.
there's a story somewhere about that he's talked about it. I don't know. But why him? That's my
And
question.
why all these guys? I think it does, whether he likes one side more than the other, and I don't necessarily think that's true. Mm-hmm. It looks like favoritism at some point. I 1000% agree with you. There's already all of these allegations made by Brandy of inappropriate texts with Andy and stuff like that. It just seems like you need to have a line you don't cross where you don't socialize with people that work on the show.
Yeah, I would agree. Unless the entire cast is present or something like that. Like then if it's like, okay, everybody's going, you're invited. Okay, that doesn't look like anything to me.
No favoritism.
Yeah, no anything. So that's fine, but it just looked weird to me.
Yeah, I thought it did too. All right, well, let's talk about Emerald. He wasn't there, and somebody asked him why. And so I'm looking at a post from CC Loves You on Instagram who said, why Emerald wasn't at the post-reunion Summer House Boys Night with Andy Cohen. And there's a comment, Emerald says, I left early a few hours before they wrapped, so that's part of it. They responded, part of it, so not all of it, or... And he says, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to chalk it up to that and move on. It's all good. Then he says, I'm so glad I did it and got some publicity and a platform for my English school. That was always my big goal in all of this. I mean, after reading that, I had tweeted out, doesn't sound positive for Emerald returning to Summer House.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So why he's a full-time cast member. Why wasn't he at the reunion for the entire time?
That's another good question. I don't know. Yes, because he was a full-time cast member. So why he would have left early, I don't know. Were they just like, we need you to leave. We need this extra seat here. I don't know why he would be asked to leave and why you would leave early unless you voluntarily left early.
It just doesn't make sense to me. He missed one weekend, but then Lindsay had missed a weekend, and I think Paige came late.
Too.
Yeah, Lexi did too. So that I don't get. But then it really sounds like I'm so glad I did it. That sounds like a final ending.
Yes, it does.
So we got a comment from Lizzie Loves Bravo, who said, it would have been nice to have seen more of this from him, unless Bravo left it all out. He was nice, but he didn't give a lot. To the show, anyway. The rest of the house spends a lot of time together, and I personally don't feel like he made that much of an effort to forge any relationships with them. It was like he was only there to hook up and leave to go to these great things. He may have interacted more and Bravo left it out. What do you think? Was he a bit standoffish or was it edited that way?
I don't know. It could have been edited that way because we miss whole chunks of days here. Like when they focus on him, they focus on him at night.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he did during the day other than when they have parties at there. I don't know the conversations they've had. I don't really know any of that. I don't know if people wanted to talk to him, if he wanted to talk to other people, or conversations just weren't that interesting enough to show, which is too bad. But I don't think he quite got the concept of the show either. Yes, hookups are one part of it, but they're not really every weekend. And it's a lot about how you interact with the people in the house.
Yeah.
Even if you're not dating anybody.
Right.
It's just how you are in that friend group. And I don't think he made quite an impact.
No, and it's a shame too, because I was a bit disinterested in the hookup part.
Yeah.
Because once you did it once, then, twice, 3 times, 4, I don't care anymore. I get that in the evening, they're going to show that. That's fine. I don't care. Everything was consensual, everything,
Right,
so
yeah.
that I totally don't care about. I agree that it didn't seem like he was part of anything.
Right.
Like, even when they were all together, did he not speak up, or was he too nervous, or did he not feel welcome? I don't know, because West and Jesse season 1 both fit in kind of easily.
Yeah, they did. I mean, West had a decent personality. He's fun to be around.
At first.
And then, then it wears off a little
Right.
bit. But Jesse kind of was that way too, even though towards the end he got a little bit nervous about his, cancer scare type deal. But everybody kind of rallied around him there too. And he made up his whole stupid song.
Oh,
Thank God.
God.
You know what? If anything happened in the season that I love is that song was not mentioned once.
Yeah, it didn't go anywhere. Well, then, do you want to see Emerald back, or would you replace anyone in the cast with him, or get rid of anyone? What do you want to see next season? Because they filmed the reunion, so I think we have 1 or 2 episodes tops left.
I don't think Emerald should be back. I don't think that he was that interesting. Not even necessarily that you're not a decent person, just that not for this platform, unfortunately. Jesse, I want gone badly.
Yeah.
I am not interested in him at all. I think he is a complete asshole.
Yeah.
And not in a fun way to watch.
Right.
Like a maddening way. Unless he comes to the reunion and says, yeah, I was all over the place.
Yeah.
Then okay. But if that's not how this happens, then no, I'm not interested.
I think I would give Emerald another chance. I think season 1 is hard for people. Even Lexi, when she hooked up with Jesse right away, it was like huge mistake.
Yeah.
That's all we saw about her. We didn't really see much about. Oh no, we saw her mom and her sister. I don't know about her. I couldn't handle her mom and sister, filming and stuff too. It was weird to me. We didn't even see that much of anybody's family.
That is true.
No,
I know.
I mean, Carl's mom every once in a while, but like,
yeah, Carl's stupid mom.
But I would actually replace Emerald with Jesse. I'm not a fan of Jesse either. I would get rid of him. I don't love West that much anymore either. I think they struggle with finding good men for this show. And we're stuck with Carl and Kyle because they're
That was going to be my next thing, because I'd be like, Kyle is hanging on by a thread here. I think the only reason why you're still there is because you're married to Amanda.
And a mess.
And there you go. Yeah. Because he literally disappoints Amanda every season. It's just like, not once can he ever do anything that's like, good on you, man. Or if you do, then it's like one time, then you do something stupid the next time. It's just like, you have not grown at all.
I don't know if they're struggling to find men that fit because, I mean, these men are older. Kyle and Carl are both in their 40s.
Yeah.
And so finding, someone in their 20s doesn't quite click. That doesn't go. Yet Kyle still drinks like a fish, but I don't know what the problem is. They haven't clicked on the men for me.
No, they haven't. And I'm not sure if it's the age gap thing, where that could be the problem. Either they have to get rid of the older people and start bringing in all new, or they have to find people who are in that age group that are older, which is actually where I tend to lean more towards. Just go skew,
I don't know.
Just skew a little older. I don't like these young people. I think they're all friggin' idiots.
But the thing is Lexi's 26 or 28 or something. She's not that young. I don't know. I think they needed a whole new cast. All of it. I think Paige said something like, I'm getting to the point where I don't know if I really belong here anymore.
Oh.
Like, just, it's getting old. It's not, she doesn't love to do all this. She doesn't go out and party.
No.
It's just not her thing. I don't know if it ever was, but it's just at the point where I think they need a whole new cast because this needs to be a different show now. Mm-hmm. They've all kind of aged out of it. Lindsay's, having a baby. Had a baby now, but it's just kind of like it just doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah, I think so. That too. That's probably the way. You convinced me.
Awesome. So because we're talking about Summer House in the news, let's briefly talk about the episode of Summer House and just kind of, include them both together.
Sure.
The women put together the party this week, and it was like a slumber party or...
Like snooze fest or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Not too much happened other than Lexi and Jesse again. They're in their second month of this relationship, and they have fought more than anybody. It's really tiring and exhausting.
It is. It's... Ugh.
Well, she's getting an earful from Amanda about Jesse and kind of his shit talking. He's always talking bad about Lexi, kind of like she's pressuring him.
Yeah. Which is totally not the case.
No.
We figure out here too, because she's like, what are you talking about? What he tells me, and he texts me all the time, and he always tells me what he's doing, and that he wants to get a cat together and wants to do all these things. And
she's like, it's too much.
Right, yeah.
She's like, I almost told him to stop because it's all the time. So he's telling everybody it's the exact opposite. And she has a talk with him, and he seems a little pissed about it. But I think we can kind of all agree that Jesse's the problem.
Literally, it is all him.
Yeah.
And I normally it's not like that black and white. It's like, oh, you're kind of a mess and you're kind of a mess, so you don't really mesh well. No, you're the root of the entire problem.
Yeah.
It's you.
And he feels like he can't trust his friends, but Amanda's like, look, if this was about Paige, I would tell Paige. If it was about Ciara, she'd tell. So she's like, Lexi's my friend. Yeah. So I'm going to tell her, you need to look out for this stuff. Sorry, Jesse. And I love that.
I like that too, because I like that she said I would do it for Paige or Ciara. Why would I not do it for her?
Yes.
And that's,
That was huge.
I thought so too. It's like, sorry, too bad, buddy. She deserves to know about how you're talking about her and not watch it like months from now and think, what was...
Because she had an excellent point. She's like, how do I make you feel in this relationship? And he's like, great. Well, I don't. I'm hearing all this shit. You're not making me feel that way. I'm not the problem, buddy. You are,
Yeah.
Well, the last part of the episode, we had this really awkward moment where Carl decided to tell Ciara that he had a crush on her.
Stop, please. I can't. What is wrong with this man? Why would you say that? And the look on Ciara's face is just like, let me pretend I never heard that.
Yeah, it was
like,
horror.
Let's rewind this. Like, what? What are you talking about?
Since when?
Yes.
Like, you were going to get married a couple months ago. Like, so now it's me?
Right.
No. No, she really looked horrified. And not even in like I'm flattered kind of way, just more like, why would... Take it back.
Yes.
Please take that back.
Caught off guard, not prepared for it at all.
So next week we'll see what happens with that. But the overall episode was okay. Not much else, so we're just going to move on. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about episode 2 of The Valley. Pretty good.
Another good episode right off the bat here. We got 2 great episodes.
I know. So we're going to talk about 2 couples, Jesse and Michelle and Jax and Brittany, because the episode mainly focuses on them.
Yes. All hot messes.
Yes. It starts off with a conversation between Kristen Doty and Jax, where he admits to Kristen that, yes, he threw a table. He either threw the bar stool or the table hit the bar stool, because she was going to sit down and he's like, don't sit on that one. It's broken. So I don't know if he threw it or something hit it. Mm-hmm. He was yelling and screaming at Brittany. It was terrible. He admits to all that. But then he plays the victim by pretty much blaming Brittany for all of his reactions.
Yeah, he loves to do this thing where he's like, I know that Brittany's not in the wrong and she's just a, but.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's that but there, And
but
then
she said this.
Yeah. Then he goes the complete opposite way.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude.
Well, Kristen says to him how much Brittany is hurting right now. And his response was, what about me?
The fact that this line has come up twice on 2 different shows this year is fascinating to me.
That is. It's very Brittany coded,
Yes,
isn't it?
It is.
That's funny. And
Brittany from Salt Lake, not Brittany from the Valley.
Yes. Oh, true. Yes. Both Brittany. Well, we got a response from Wilder's Arlene, who said he needs to go. I'm not surprised at all. He called his pregnant wife fat. Yes, I did not mention that. He did some screaming and yelling. However, it comes up that he would constantly talk about Brittany's appearance.
Yeah.
Calling her fat. We got, co-signed from the whole cast about it?
Literally everyone. And I don't think that's happened, ever.
Yeah.
That everyone can agree on one thing.
They've either seen texts where he's yelling at Brittany, calling her that. I think Dorit and Zach were both in the room when he has done it. On the after show, Schwartz even said, I think Brittany has receipts on this, Jax, because he was denying he ever called her fat. In fact, I think he said, I really like her body type.
Yes, but you don't like her. So that's
he doesn't like her body type either.
No, he doesn't
because he
either.
said he was not
but...
attracted to her. He's just such an ass. How do you call a pregnant woman fat?
I don't know. I don't know. Probably
she's
just
literally
because...
creating your child in her. God, that's so gross.
It is. And I'm at the point with him now, too, where it used to be on Vanderpump Rules, because we actually started kind of dabbling and going back into early seasons of Vanderpump Rules because they were so good.
Yeah.
And I used to find him very amusing just because he would share everybody else's shit.
Right.
Except his own.
Right.
And now it's gotten to the point where he's actually gotten worse as a person.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think was possible, but you're just gross, dude, all around, all across the board. So if they let him go, I am not surprised, and it's probably warranted. Well, imagine getting fired from 2 Bravo shows. For being an ass.
Right.
Both of them.
For being terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, I saw a tweet from Tori who said, the difference in Cruz while greeting Zach and then seeing Jax is jarring. And she included 2 photos. And I really thought it was as well. The photo of Cruz meeting Zach when he came over and literally tilting his head up as though, okay, Zach, you can even give me a kiss. I'm okay with contact. And then Jax showing up and Cruz literally got into the fetal position, almost a ball, and started crying.
I think it's pretty telling, and I noticed it in the episode too, which is why I think that the producers probably did that.
Yeah.
And showed that. I mean, I know that Cruz is nonverbal, but it would certainly appear that he has picked up on Jax's energy and that he's not vibing with it.
No, I agree. It definitely, you don't have to say anything to see what someone's feeling. And he clearly gets anxious. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's all the time. I don't, every time he sees him or this particular moment, but it was a little disturbing. As far as Jax and Brittany, though, at the very end, it gets explosive when she shows up there and he's packing to go to rehab.
Yeah.
It comes out that he was doing coke. I think maybe that's why he decided to announce it, because she said it on camera for the first time. But now we said it. You know, it came out and he's like, but you do it too. And she's like, I will take a drug test right now. Have I done it before? Yes. Do I have a cocaine problem or addiction? I do not. And I'll take a drug test right now. I would pass. Would you? And that's when he wanted cameras to stop.
Right. Yeah.
So what did you think of all that at the end?
I thought, finally, Brittany is just like, I am literally 100% done. Like, we're not going back to anything, and I'm going to call you out because it is the only way that maybe you can get help. I don't know what cocaine does to your emotions. I don't know how that works, if it affects that. Like, if he's a raging asshole because of that, or if that's just part of his personality. I have no idea.
I don't know either.
But I just thought, good for you. Finally, just call him out. Make him go then.
Well, one thing I do like was the way that the men approached it, because I thought, you know, there's a way to be supportive of your friend, but not take their bullshit. And even Danny was like, you know, it's rock bottom when you can't see your kid.
Yeah.
And so you need to go. And Jason took him and was like, I'll even mail your eBay shit for you.
Shit. You said it right before me. I was going to be like, a good friend takes your eBay stuff for you, your eBay orders.
And I don't know if that was on the show. It was on the after show that Jax has his own eBay account. We've been on it before. I don't actually remember it. I wish I did. But we browsed a lot of his stuff, and it's literally like stuff they get for appearances,
like
and
promotional packages,
and stuff. And he sells that. So Jason, on his way to taking Jax to rehab, dropped off one of his eBay sales, which was hilarious to me. But I just thought it was great.
No, so the person that bought the mascara from Jax, please leave a 5-star review and say that you did, and say thank you for sending my mascara out promptly on your way to rehab.
And thank you, Jason.
Yes, thank you, Jason.
Yes. If you haven't left that feedback, please do so now.
Yes. A+ seller.
But again, though, I thought it was cool. Jason took him, but he's like, you need to go. Nobody was like, don't go, or Brittany's the problem. You know, they all believe Brittany. Jason said it in his confessional. Brittany's not a liar. She's not lying, and he needs to go. And so I thought, you know, there's a way to be supportive and still hold somebody accountable. And I thought the men all did that.
Yeah, I would agree.
So let's move on to Jesse and Michelle.
Oh, God, the other problem couple.
Yeah. So people seem to be a little split down the middle with who they're siding with, Michelle or Jesse.
Oh my God, how?
Well, Michelle's not likable. That's her biggest problem. She's not a likable person. Jesse isn't either. But most people, I think, don't like either. But
sure,
Jesse, now that he apologized to Doty, and there's a lot of Doty fans, I think they're kind of swayed by that. So we have a scene where Michelle comes to his place, and they're talking about the visitation schedule. It comes off as though Michelle set the whole schedule up, when actually Jesse did. It's his schedule, and she agreed to it. She shows up there, and he's like, yeah, the schedule isn't working for me. We need to change it. And she's in her confessionals like, this happens all the time. I agree to something that he has suggested, and then he changes his mind and acts as though I'm the problem when it's him. He changes his mind all the time.
Well, he gives me the vibe of the person, not the vibe, his actions give me the reason to believe that he cannot be wrong. He's one of those people.
Yeah.
That if he does something wrong, that would either embarrass him, or like he would feel embarrassed for being wrong, which is so stupid.
Yeah.
Or just that you changed your mind.
Right.
All you have to say is that, you know, hey, I know I made it and I made this schedule, but something came up and this isn't going to work for me. Can we do something about it? That's it.
I know.
Instead, you got to be a difficult
and argumentative
person.
Ugh. So what did you think about when Michelle brought up that Jesse's girlfriend is actually seeing other people?
The look on his face was absolutely
Well,
priceless.
he's like, you're wrong.
Yeah. Like, yeah, you're wrong. And she's like, no, call Sheena. Sheena's who I heard it from. I will literally tell you.
Yeah.
That is where, and not only did she hear it from Sheena, Sheena heard it from the woman herself. So It's not even like, it was a hearsay type thing. Literally, she told Sheena. So they call her, and Sheena's like, that is literally verbatim what Michelle told you. That's what happened.
That's what she told me.
Yes. And he just kind of gets off the phone like,
and then
okay.
No. She offers more info that it was from a guy on Baywatch.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, please let it be the Hoff. Please let it be the Hoff. But obviously, I doubt that. So they're still together. So clearly, they had not had the exclusive talk, and must have afterward, because I would think he would dump her if she's like, no, I would like to see what options I have.
I would think that too, because he seems very also possessive as well. So he would not be cool with that.
Well, right after that, he shut down the whole meeting. He's like, you need to go.
He was broken at that point. He didn't know what to do.
He was kind of short-circuiting. He didn't quite know what to say. Like, no. She's like, look, we're both angry. He goes, I'm not angry.
Oh my God.
That's exactly what an angry person would say. I'm not angry. Okay.
You can't even agree with her on that.
I know.
That you're angry.
Oh my God, I know.
You literally can't even do that. Like, it's okay that you are. It's fine.
One thing I will say, though, is Michelle admitted on season 1 that she's not sure she should have married him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That she was literally, I don't think, ever really in love with him.
Right.
At any point, even when they got married, that so I don't know.
He wasn't the love of her life.
No. And I don't really know why she did marry him. I'm not sure if it's because they were working on their business together and it was just like,
he's successful.
Yeah.
He's handsome. I should just, go with it. Maybe something develops here. But that was a huge mistake.
Yes, I would agree. And that kind of falls on her too. So then it's like,
sure.
So then it's like, okay, well, you cheated on him because you didn't ever really want to be with him.
Right. And he was nasty.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I get why some people would feel a little bit like, oh, is Michelle the problem? Is Jesse the problem? I get that you don't like either, but really, I think it's 80-20 of who's the problem here, and it's definitely Jesse. So, because Michelle also said too, you're going to try to make me look like a cold-hearted bitch. Mm-hmm. You're going to try to make me look like I don't care. And I am done playing the game with you here. So
he was tearing up when she said that. And then that dried up really quick.
Yeah.
She knows all of his tricks. I don't doubt that at this point, they're maybe equally as bad. I just don't think it started that way. I think he was a nightmare. He always had to be right.
Yes.
He would criticize her constantly. We saw in season 1 him criticizing her about the coffee. Mm-hmm. And you didn't make it right. And you didn't that. So it wears on a person. So is she a total bitch now? Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like her at all, but now I'm Team Michelle in this instance.
Yes.
And with Jesse. I don't like her with Kristen. I like Kristen better, but
yeah, you made me this way. I used to be happy, and this is what you've turned me.
I used to be okay.
Now I'm miserable.
I was never happy with you, but.
Right.
So let's talk about tonight's episode of Atlanta. It was all about Nashville. Yep. Drew showed up, not really wanted by anybody but Angela, and Portia was just a pill.
I know. She was kind of a bummer the whole night. And
it's just like, is this that serious? To warrant like 3-4 episodes of hanging on to who she's really mad at, which is Dennis?
Right. That's exactly it. It's like, Drew, what do you think Drew is doing to you, really? I just don't see it on Drew's end as being that deep. It's like she's going through a divorce too, and Dennis is promising her that they could make money,
right,
and things like that. So yeah, she's gonna
latch onto that,
right?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, Dennis is the problem. Drew's not the problem. Yeah.
And I get Cynthia's point too. Like, if you're gonna work with my baby daddy, as Cynthia said, then come to me first. And Drew screwed that all up. But she's apologized like 20 times.
Right. And I don't think that she's dating Dennis or did anything with Dennis at all.
Or his hot dog.
Exactly. I don't think that was going on at all. Maybe I'm naive to that, but I really don't see it.
I don't either. And I mean, we saw this vulnerable moment with Shamia, who couldn't be there for her daughter's doctor's appointment. So she actually Zoomed on it.
Yeah.
Or FaceTimed with her husband or whatever. But I mean, she was talking about that. She was talking about some domestic violence in her past and stuff. And yet she rallied. But then we have Portia, who gets a phone call about Drew filming with Dennis and completely shuts down. She's sulking at the table. It's obvious. I feel like it's a bit of an attention grab. And everybody's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Nothing. I'm fine. I can't with that shit.
Yeah, I don't like that either, because I'm going to ask you once if you're okay. You can tell me that you're fine. I'll take your word for it that you're fine. And if you're not fine and you just say, no, I'm not fine, but I don't want to talk about it. Okay, fine. Then I'm not going to keep asking.
Well, then I have a reason for your mood.
Right.
You know, there's something there, but you're not ready to talk. Okay, I get it.
Sure.
But don't do this, whiny shit.
And I want you to ask me, and I want you to keep asking because I want you to care, and I want you to,
And I'm going to be super passive aggressive to Angela and Drew when later on she says that it's Dennis who she's mad at. I don't know. I can't stand it.
I don't get the whole point of the Angela gang up here either. I'm not getting that much. I don't think she did anything to warrant really all of it.
Well, it gets worse.
Yeah.
Because at the very end of the episode, we find out that Angela overheard the women talking out on the pool, and there was 4 of them. It was Portia, Shamia, Kelly, and Britt. And they were drinking and they were loud, and apparently Portia made the comment that Angela better be careful or she was going to fuck her husband.
I don't know why on earth that you would make that comment at all. Like, why that came into your brain, even if you were hammered, I don't understand where that came from. Because that's not even like shit talking. That's just like, what? What are you talking about?
And then Angela heard it.
Yeah.
And shared that with production and did a confessional in which she said, you better listen when Portia says she wants to fuck your husband, because history has shown she will fuck your husband. Like, ouch. That,
I know.
That was a slam dunk.
Right. So I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. And Kelly does confirm it, because first Portia kind of denied it. And then Kelly in her confessional confirms that Portia said it. And then on Watch What Happens Live tonight, then Portia did say that she said it.
She said it was basically the Hennessy talking, which was that she was drunk. But again, who throws out some threat like that?
Right. It's just weird. It doesn't really make sense to make a comment like that. I didn't get where that came from at all.
Well, Twitter seems to think they know exactly where it came from because of her marrying Simon so quickly and him being married to Fallon at the time. So there are a lot of comments that, seem to think this is kind of par for the course with Portia. But I don't know. I was super excited when they announced she was coming back. I always thought she was fun and, light and willing to let things go. But she's been a huge disappointment for me.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know if what's going on in her personal life is why she's not as like that anymore, or if she's kind of got a little bit more of an ego now and thinks Nene's gone, Kenya's gone. I've been on this franchise the longest.
She's supposed to carry the show, but
right,
she can't.
No. I think it's Shamia right now at this point.
I would agree.
Because if she went, I would be very disappointed.
Same. So hopefully it gets better.
Yeah, maybe it will with Phaedra. I don't know. We'll see about that. But I know people have their feelings about her still.
Right. All right, let's talk about tonight's premiere of Love Hotel. What were your immediate thoughts after watching it?
Not much happened this first episode like that I was like, ooh, I am so all in on this. I can't wait for the season. I mean, I'm not done watching it yet. Like, I'm not like, okay, this was terrible, I'm out. I thought it was okay. I mean, anything that Luann is on, I will watch. It doesn't matter. So I need to see who she hooks up with and how many men she hooks up with.
Right.
So I will stay tuned for that reason and that reason only.
What did you think of the selection of men?
I thought
Better than average?
Yeah, I actually do think better than average. I was shocked that there weren't as many. I feel like with 4 women, I don't know, unless they wanted people fighting over people. But
that, or sometimes when there's too many to choose from, then you get no one.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you feel like you have to know everybody and learn about everybody. And yeah, when you can't make a decision. So maybe that is better. I don't know. Maybe because I'm thinking about the stupid Bachelor and stuff like that and how many they have.
And when has that ever worked?
Right. Yeah. Very rarely. So good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. I think it's going to be fun. It's really interesting to see them in this dynamic, dating. I'm not sure if any of them end up with anyone. It has not leaked that anybody is with someone. So, and this was a while ago, I thought.
Well, I don't know why Ashley was like, yeah, I tried dating Luke from Summer House. Yeah, that didn't work. And then they mentioned Josh from the season of Potomac. And she's like, that didn't work. I'm like, we know that's not true. We know that you're at the very least still friends. I would imagine that you're hooking up. They seem to have a very good connection, a strong one.
Well, yeah, there were pictures that leaked of her out with, not even leaked, just out in public with him. So I think this was a paycheck. So she's kind of got to say that.
I think so too. Yeah.
But, I'm interested. I want to follow them all. I can't wait to see who fights with who. And I'm really interested in the whole Kim Joel booster of it all. So.
Oh, yeah. I know, right? I don't know that we'll get any of that.
But I liked the men. I liked most of them. We'll see some fights with the men, too.
Well, you guys are all older. What the hell?
They got to throw a weirdo or two in there, or it's, not as interesting. So.
Yeah, I get that.
Thanks for listening to episode 47 of Nice-ish. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, or Threads at Nice-ish Podcast or Love Cindy C. You can listen to Nice-ish wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Look for new episodes every Monday. Thank you for listening and have a nice-ish day.